Hey everyone, this is darkspidey34. What you're about to listen to is a recording that me and Sam, also known as The Fuzzy Life, made during summer 2014. I basically went over some of the films that I saw, and we go back and forth, and it was a better intake of my earlier impressions of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 in fuller detail. I originally lost this recording. I was able to recover it a little while ago and, edit it all together and try and format it correctly for you all to listen to. If you're only concerned with the updates, well then sorry, this is before those updates. I do talk a little bit about Regeneration Part 1 here and there during the discussion. But this is just a continuation from what we did during the summer. We talked about summer 2013 and moved on to summer 2014. So obviously this was before all of the recent Marvel Sony Spider-Man stuff. So when we refer to a hypothetical third Spider-Man movie within the Amazing Spider-Man canon, we are of course talking about before all this happened, months before all of this happened. So that's the context of some of the jokes that we make during the recording. Hopefully, we can get something together and discuss that real quick. Also, I will be uploading additional recordings from the session that Fuzzy Life, Grey-Eyed One, and myself made. And it's a special one where I go over casting choices. If the Amazing Lego Spider-Man was real, who would I cast and what role? So it is kind of relevant to the recent Spider-Man news. Hopefully you guys will find that interesting in some of the choices that we have. Hypothetically, imaginary, fantasy, whatever, is an interesting discussion. So stay tuned for that.
Meh. This summer, though, much better. It was a little weak with what was the first movie? No, I saw Captain America 2. We saw Captain America 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah.
Except it was basically just like, I don't know, worshiping the alpha male for an hour and a half. Like, I didn't like how Captain America had like this black sidekick who was just like, oh yeah, Captain America's so cool.
But
I don't know. It was kind of hokey.
I'd imagine like it would. I've heard sentiments that it's better than the Avengers, actually. And
really?
I
find that surprising.
It's out of all the separate independent Marvel movies that have come out since the Avengers, I feel like this one has had the larger stakes. A lot of big things happen there compared to the other ones, and you didn't even know Thor 2 came out when we first talked about it.
Well, Thor 1 was barely worth seeing. I was gonna go see Thor 2.
It's been a while since they started showing it on FX recently, because that movie came out in 2011 and they have a certain amount of years before they can show it on television. So it's been on FX. Yeah. And I watched it again recently and I'm just like, oh my god, this is so dull. Yeah, and there's a lot of Dutch angles in the movie.
What's a Dutch angle?
It's when the shot is slightly tilted. There's a lot of that. A lot of that in this movie. Or in that movie.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just don't know. In Thor 2, The Dark World I saw it. It was on Stars.
Okay.
They showed it on Stars, and I watched it, and I liked it more than the first movie, but it's still pretty forgettable. Yeah. But Asgard, that's what it's called. Asgard.
No, yeah, Aslan's the lion from Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Big Ass Land? Big Asgard, that's it.
Yeah.
It feels like it looks a lot better. It looks like an actual world than just some
city,
boring golden CGI place. It looks like there's grass, there's different types of structures, there's all sorts of neat architectural things to look at. It looks so much better. It's better. It's better, and you don't spend that much time on Earth, but of course the final battle has to be on Earth. But the final battle is actually kind of fun.
Is it another giant robot?
No, it's a giant machine thing that's doing stuff to the universe.
Giant machine?
Yeah. And he's shooting this red goo throughout these entrances to all these different planes, and that will destroy them or some shit. I don't remember. It's so forgettable. but that's like a big deal, you'd think, but they don't treat it as such. I felt like the stakes were higher in Captain America than they were in Thor.
Oh yeah.
And
well, because stakes that affect like the entire universe for some reason just don't seem as big a deal as it like it just affects Earth. I mean, Earth's more relatable, right? Like,
yeah,
we know Earth.
Like there's like this entire planet that's filled with Asian people, and you're like, I don't live there. I don't give a shit.
I'm not even Asian.
I'm not even Asian. And yeah, that's yeah.
Just a sec. I gotta go pee.
All right.
If you wanna.
He's actually gonna go feed the guinea pigs. Oh dear God. I guess I'll just talk to myself here. We're actually getting a shot at. Okay. Let me see. What else did I see? Guess I could talk about the Amazing Spider-Man 2. It just wasn't that great. And I've heard certain sentiments that you would have preferred it if, I would have wrote it, but whatevs. My excuse. Alright. Well, the fireworks are really taking off now.
Whew.
Okay, so the next movie that I saw, I think Mark saw it too, but we didn't go together as like a date or anything.
That's cool.
But I don't know how he saw it. I think he went to the movies by himself.
And you guys happened to meet there?
No, like I think we went to separate movie theaters on different days because like I talked to him like in the car because I did. Yeah, he didn't like on the last day of school. Like no one could pick him up, so I decided to drive him there.
Yeah.
And we started talking about The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and like I talked about all these plot points, and he knew exactly what I was talking about, so I assumed he watched it.
Right.
So yeah. It's just these two writers again. They're the masters of self-referencing older stuff.
Really?
Yeah, because Gwen Stacy's wearing the same outfit she wore in issue 121 when the Green Goblin threw her off the bridge.
Oh, that's
and Spidey broke her neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did she?
Spoiler alert! This whole thing's gonna be spoilers. Yeah,
Wow.
She eats it like the same exact way. The same exact way in the comics.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, everyone's just like, before the movie came out, everyone's like, Electro's gonna kill Gwen. Wow.
Gwen dies. That's Gwen's thing.
Yeah, that's what she does.
Right. That is her fate.
No one.
Mary Jane lives.
Everyone's just like, I don't want Electro to do it. I don't want that to happen. They're ruining the whole context of everything, and it happens the exact same way.
Yeah. The villain doesn't really matter.
The Green Goblin throws her off. Spider-Man webs her and breaks her back and her
So
neck.
is it Electro that throws her off?
No, it's a Green Goblin.
Oh, it is the Green Goblin.
Yeah, he does it.
Okay.
He just throws her off. And it's actually it's a little nerve-wracking because you don't know if they're going to do it or not.
Right.
Because it can go either way with these movies nowadays.
Sure.
So, she's falling and she's falling on these gears and like, what's going to kill her? What's going to kill her? What's going to kill her? Is she going to die? What's going to happen? And he's fighting the Green Goblin and he's trying to keep her on the web and everything. And one of his web shooters breaks, I think. I don't know. And that makes things kind of tense if his web shooters break.
Well, that's great too. It's a callback to like thousands of Spidey moments.
Yeah,
web shooter break.
I don't know if I made this clear, but I regret not going with that. I wish I went with
that the way. Yeah.
I have organic web shooters here, but I wish I went with mechanical because I didn't understand the relevancy that it could have on the story.
Sure, a lot of plot can come out of that.
Yeah,
that's all right.
Yeah. Like I even pushed myself to even acknowledge the fact that it's organic in the next episode. So, but it's like a dream sequence, and there's questions whether or not that conversation even happened. But at least I'm acknowledging it.
Maybe he can lose the power like he did in what was that, Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, I might do something like if I go with the clone.
Oh, okay.
So
It's just Gabriel.
Yeah.
You were saying the death scene. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. I just ignored the whole story, didn't I? Look, I wasn't crazy about The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but there are certain points here and there that made me go, that's Spider-Man. That's something he would do.
Right.
It's not, and the moments are almost made me go, oh, that's nice. And they kind of run even that into the ground a little bit later into the movie because it gets kind of schmaltzy and sort of corny and almost cringy. Electro, Max Dillon, that whole character is just it's just so hard to watch Jamie Foxx play that character, because you go from playing someone in like perfectly in a period piece like Ray Charles, and then you're playing this weird autistic nerd who doesn't understand how to interact with other people, and he talks to himself, and he talks to like this imaginary Spider-Man, and he has like this birthday cake because it's his birthday, right? And he makes a birthday cake for himself, and he's just like, "Oh, you made this cake for me, Spider-Man? Thanks." It's so
Really?
it's so weird.
Yeah.
And I know that was intentional, but it's still so weird.
Right.
It's yeah.
It's hard to. It's hard to take a villain like that seriously too.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why when I did Electro, I just went with classic Electro. I didn't add much character to him. I went with he was an electrician. And he got hit by electricity, and there you go, and that's it. That's it. I probably would have gotten into a little bit more depth with him than like I do nowadays, but I don't know. I was just copying the comic book at that point.
Yeah.
Not even like a well-known comic book, but like, or a recent one. I mean, it was the older ones, because I had a lot of them. I have like the first of 40 issues, I think, but it's all in black and white. It's not interesting to look at, but it was cheaper than the colored versions, because the ink is more. The ink makes it more expensive. The coloring makes it more expensive. It's not fun to look at. I would be okay if it was like grayscale or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's literally black and white. Everything feels hollow. Nothing. It's
No, yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah, and I should have gotten the more expensive Spider-Man Essential comic books. I should have. It's more. It's the coloring isn't as fancy as today, but it's certainly better than absolutely nothing.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just go through every single one and color it.
Well, give a couple talented first graders $1 and they'll do it for you.
Yeah, it's just
The ones who know inside the lines, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
if they don't,
I'm just like, what the? You just ruined this whole thing for me. This plan went horribly wrong. Yeah, I loved coloring books when I was a kid. Remember, I had a Batman coloring book from the animated series. And, yeah, I would sometimes color him a different race, because I'm just like, hey, why the fuck not?
right? You have the power in that.
Yeah, certain pages I'd make him black.
Uh-huh.
Why? Yeah, I did that with this. I remember a few years later, like 2002 or 2003, they released these X-Men and Hulk and Spider-Man coloring books. Oh, I loved those. I love those. I'm getting nostalgic just thinking about it. I missed 2003 for some reason. I missed the late 90s and early 2000s.
I'm stuck in 2005, dude. Everything will always be 2005 for me.
Yeah.
How old were we in 2005?
We were 11.
That's about right.
Yeah.
That's when I got hit by that bus.
What? You did? What? Oh my god. We're in limbo. Yeah, it would randomly, the dialogue between, I think, Harry Osborn and Peter, and with Peter and Gwen would sometimes switch to like this, I don't know. I don't understand the distinction between ad-libbing and improv. What is the difference, Sam?
I think improv is like the act of just making stuff up on the spot, whether it be movement or words.
Okay.
Whereas ad-lib is like specifically words.
Okay. I think it was more improv, because the dialogue felt different. The delivery and the dialogue itself. And they were acknowledging things that you wouldn't really acknowledge with these characters. They were like when Peter Parker and Harry Osborn meet for the first time in a very long time.
Yeah.
They just start sort of play insulting each other.
Yeah.
Like he makes fun of his unibrow, like because Andrew Garfield has a bit of a unibrow going on. It's like, oh, did you just make that up on the spot?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah, you don't think they'd write that into the script?
Yeah, they were just like playing around with each other through the dialogue, and I thought that was kind of interesting, but it was kind of dull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed not exactly that, but a bit in the first movie where the dialogue just felt a little bit awkward, and I guess that's what they were going for, but it made me feel awkward doing it.
Yeah, it didn't really feel awkward. It just felt sort of, god damn it, it felt just kind of dull. And it wasn't really interesting what they were talking about. And I felt like Andrew Garfield's accent, like he never slips into a British accent ever.
Right.
But his American accent is kind of reminds me of yours sometimes. Like he goes into like this sort of New Jersey accent almost.
Oh, really?
Like just for like a split second or something.
Huh.
I'm just like, well, what do you? Huh? And I'm just like, wait a minute, no. A Spider-Man with a hint of Brooklyn in there. I kind of.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah, he's like a wisecracking. It's like Bugs Bunny. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
I wish they stuck with it.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah. His voice sort of dwells into that a little bit, and I didn't really have a problem with that. I thought it fits. You know, and I don't think anyone's acknowledged that, but I think it kind of fits, and I would be okay with that. It's like a Bugs Bunny superhero.
Do you think he did it on purpose?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. And his interpretation of Spider-Man is more in line with the comic books.
He looks more like the comic book character, too.
Yeah, he does. And he sounds like him. The way he plays Peter Parker is not really distinctive in any way, but it's not Tobey Maguire. It's different, and therefore it's bad. But his Spider-Man is distinctive. It's recognizable from the comic book, and he nails it pretty much. His obsession with Gwen Stacy is a little, it's a little, it borders on a little bit creepy in some instances, because like when they break up early in the movie.
Okay. How can you break up with someone once you know they're... Oh, she doesn't. Never mind.
Yeah. And they bring up that whole thing where he technically kind of broke his promise to a dying person. Yeah. And a lot of people complain about that, and he acknowledges how terrible he feels about doing that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, okay, that's nice. They're actually bringing that part up.
Yeah.
Because I kind of had a problem with that, too.
Me too.
And then he just, like, he ends it right there because he just couldn't take it. And then he just kind of, when he's doing this Spider-Man thing, he's just kind of looking out for her. Like, when she's crossing the street, he's just, like, looking, okay, she's good. And he pretty much knows her daily routine. And then when they see each other again and he brings it up, he's just like, wait, what?
That's
Yeah.
It makes sense that he'd be a little bit creepy just because of the trauma he went through the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
You think about it, like, Peter Parker ultimately is just a normal kid, and he goes through some serious shit.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they would introduce some character flaws, you know, and they do that, you know, in the comic books, and you've done it in your show too, where he starts to become a little bit nuts.
Yeah, and he just, in the comic books, he just starts like dreaming about her constantly and seeing her everywhere.
Yeah. And
it just sort of just, it's insane for him. So, and here, Gwen, you know, they just graduated. Like, that's the opening scene of the movie, and I knew that would be the opening scene. Right. That's what I did too. They're graduating, and then Gwen's gonna go off to like Cambridge in London or some shit.
Huh.
And that's like a problem and shit. And I'm just like, I feel like I'm watching like Boy Meets World or some shit here. It is kind of like Boy Meets World. I'm not trying to insult Boy Meets World. I like that show, but it's just, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if it was needed here.
Sure.
Because like, you know, for regeneration, there's like theft. There's Harry becoming the new boss and all that other stuff. There's mistrust in him because of what happened that night, and the accounts are not that clear and conflicting, and that's bothering Harry. And Peter has to deal with like the loss of Gwen and how he's kind of responsible for that. He has to deal with, you know, college, and he's, you know, late. That's just a little hint of that there too. And this whole thing with Dr. Connors and his past, and I'm not saying I'm better than Roberto Orci or Alex Kurtzman. I'm just saying that the stuff I'm doing should not be more interesting than what they're doing.
Right.
It shouldn't even be remotely as interesting. But it's not. Yeah. It's just boring. The swinging, is just, it puts your stomach in your chest. At least on the big screen, it did for me, because it's just really cool looking.
That's cool.
His fluidity, his movements, and everything. And the costume wrinkles. And that's nice, because it makes it more convincing. Like, he's going so fast, like, the costume just, like, ripples around him. Yeah. And in the winter, he, like, has to wear, like, it's just a short segment. It's not that long at all. He has to wear, like, I don't know if he gets sick or it's just cold outside, and he wears, like, a coat over his Spider-Man costume. Mm-hmm. He has the mask on, and he stops like this robbery at a convenience store. I'm like, oh, they're doing a callback to the first movie, kind of, where he stops a robbery at a convenience store.
Yeah.
And he's wearing like a weather gear.
That's cool.
And then he sneezes inside his mask. He's just
that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's cool because a lot of movies miss that sort of stuff. They get so caught up in their central storyline that they lose a lot of the nice little details.
Yeah, but the movie just sort of strays away from that. It's just boring.
Yeah.
And then like Dane DeHaan, that's how you say his name, who played
Dane DeHaan,
the Green Goblin. Norman Osborn, as I predicted, died early on in the film. And I liked Norman Osborn in this movie. I liked how what's his face played him. That's pretty much how I thought he would play him. And, what's his name? I know his name. Norman Osborn. I've stated this before. I don't know how I forgot his name. Yeah, that's it. Oh no, not another Osborn butler. Can we stop with the butlers, please, for the love of God? Your father loved you. Harry, I wiped the blood from his blade, and he loved you. Why didn't you tell me this sooner? Well, why didn't you? You just, I'm sorry, I have Alzheimer's. I don't know what's... Who are you? I'm not even really your butler. Did you just make up that story? Yes, I'm sorry. Get the fuck out of here. Half of my face is gone. I'm blind in one eye. God, why is everyone in my life a fucking idiot? Including myself.
Was the... this guy who played Harry, was he in the first movie? Because I don't remember him at all.
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
His existence is implied a tiny bit. Because if his father works at the same place as, the company owned by Harry's father, then I would assume that they at some point met or communicated with each other. So
right.
at that level, it's sort of implied. Come on, it's in here somewhere. Aha, they did the same thing with the Rhino's name. They called him by his actual name, not the Rhino. Oh. That's what I did.
Does he not appear as the Rhino?
He does, but it's at like the last scene.
Oh, Paul Giamatti plays the Rhino?
Yeah, he was really bad in this. It's wasted.
He
wasted him.
He plays a lot of bad parts, actually. I feel I've seen him in a lot of mediocre films.
Come on, where is he? Bully. They're not bullying. These are little kids. They bully another kid, and Spider-Man just sticks up for him. Oh. And yeah, it's a nice little scene. There we go. He's uncredited. Chris Cooper. Chris Cooper played him. And he's dying of this disease that's also affecting Harry, and he wants a cure, and the cure is in Spider-Man's DNA.
Makes sense.
Wonder who they got that from. So yeah, I wouldn't say they got it from me. I don't know. I don't remember. It might have been in the Spider-Man 2002 video game with the Spider Slayers. Not Spider Slayers. They weren't Spider Slayers. I don't know what they were called. I don't remember where the idea came from.
Yeah. I
really don't. But
it's somewhere in the Spider-Man pool of consciousness.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. But that whole graduation scene, that was me. They fucking took it.
I believe it, dude. Hey, they get on YouTube. They Google Spider-Man. They could find your videos and just take shit.
I don't know. I was
gonna suspect a thing.
I was being skeptical. I don't know, but like the scene construction. Like as soon as they announce Peter Parker, he just shows right up.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I did.
You know what? I feel like I've seen that in the comic book.
I have never seen that before.
Maybe not. Maybe
I got the idea when I was at my aunt's graduation. Like, Peter Parker was this was his graduation. Totally he'd probably be late.
In the comic books, he doesn't. Oh no, wait, that's college. Never mind. I was gonna say he is short a gym credit and doesn't get to graduate.
Really?
I think that's from college. Though.
Oh, he has to hold back in gym.
Yeah.
You don't hold back to the point where you're just like shitty. It's like The Incredibles, just second place.
Second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine it's kind of embarrassing for him. I guess in the Tobey Maguire version, playing sports, because if he accidentally webs, it gets all over the basketball.
Yeah. I guess he has to. I guess he has to kind of hold it back because he has to keep that reputation of being a bit of a weakling.
Yeah,
not really a strong guy.
Yeah, kind of like Clark Kent. That's his thing.
Yeah, but it's much harder for him. He has to hold back everything he does, or else Like I think he even wears like
Weights.
thick suits, or suits too big for him, so his muscles don't show too much.
I remember one Superman film. I think it was the second one. He's on this airplane, and for some reason he reaches back and just bends this pipe. I don't know why. Whether he just like needs to like relieve stress or what, but. If you're on a plane, you don't just reach back and start bending shit.
Bro,
it's an airplane. I don't know. Maybe I misremember that. It was a while ago, but that was.
You got so pissed off, just like I need
my mind. Come on, Superman. Don't be an asshole.
You're a super jerk. So the next step, I think where they're gonna go from here, because it's important to have an end game for these movies, right?
Yeah. Is it gonna be a trilogy?
Yeah. I don't know who's directing it. I think Mark Webb might direct it. I don't know who's writing it. I don't know. But Sinister Six. That's what's coming up.
Really? It's composed of who?
From what I saw, I think it's going to be Doc Ock, the Vulture, Electro, the Green Goblin. I'm not even counting. Oh my god. Vulture, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, not Electro. I don't even know what I don't even know what happened to him. I doubt he's dead. Because they do that same thing with Electro before in the 2003 animated series of Spider-Man, and he just comes back.
Yeah.
They did the same exact thing. He just comes back.
What happens though?
He gets stuck into like a power line or something, or he overloads or some shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he electricity?
I don't know. I don't
How
know.
does he get sucked into a power line?
I don't know. This modern interpretation of Electro where he's just like all electricity, not just a guy with electric powers.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense. You know, he's still human, but he has electric powers.
The ability to manipulate electricity.
And this modern, and all these modern Electros, he's just been all like, he can either turn it on and he's just like the Human Torch, but with electricity.
Or a Sandman.
Yeah, or he's just like this all the time.
Right.
And it's a little bit more interesting where he's, because the Spectacular Spider-Man, you couldn't turn it off. And Spider-Man, the new animated series, you couldn't turn it off. And the Amazing Spider-Man 2, you couldn't turn it off.
Right.
And that's more interesting, and it's kind of tragic.
It kind of reflects an obsessive personality, if they went with that, like they did in the movie. And it gives him a reason, like a motive for villainy, almost.
Yeah. You know how he got his powers?
Oh.
Electric eels.
Really?
Electric.
That's what did
feels.
Irwin in.
And he looks like the Feeling Man, Electro. He looks like
the Jamie Foxx version.
Yeah, bald, light colored. I don't know. There's a lot of So that's it. I don't know what else. I guess I could. What else could I talk about? They discover something about the spiders. I forget something about Peter's dad going off into this secret subway tunnel and doing research there. Something about Oscorp. Something about illegal stuff they've been doing. I don't fucking remember. It's gone. I don't remember what it was.
Well, I like that there's a bit about his parents, because that was the thing in the comic books that Tobey Maguire skipped over.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't do it. I think.
Well, it wasn't Tobey's choice. Where he's just like, nope, we're cutting it.
I think he's been heavily involved in the Spider-Man franchise for as long as he could, because he even voiced it in the video games.
Tobey Maguire did?
Yeah, that's not fun.
No.
Doing video game voices is not fun.
No.
Because you have to do the same thing over and over and over again, just slightly different, and they program that into the game.
Yeah.
And there's like a whole other story. You're basically doing the movie all over again, but in a video game.
Yeah.
And you're doing even more voices. Like, that's dedication.
Yeah. I guess if they paid you enough, though.
Yeah. Because they couldn't get everyone else to get on, do their characters in the video game. Only Tobey Maguire showed up for it. But the guy who played Harry Osborn in the second video game played Spider-Man in the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon.
Huh.
Josh something. Josh Keaton. Yeah, that's him.
I should recognize that name.
Yeah. He had a good Spider-Man voice too. And I guess he had a good Harry Osborn, James Franco voice.
Is this it?
I don't remember what he looks like.
That's really freaky.
I think that's I don't remember what he looked like. But like I don't know. If you IMDb it, he might show up. Well, it's right there. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, he played Spider-Man.
I hate this animation here.
Yeah, it's. I like how fluid it is, but I'm not crazy about the character designs.
Right. It's too. I don't know, like spacious.
It's a little more cartoony. A little more angular and distinctive. But I wish they had Spectacular Spider-Man writing with Ultimate Spider-Man animation, because that's a little bit more sensible. The designs in that show, but it's just fucking atrocious. It's so weird.
The writing?
Yeah, the stories are just so weird.
Does it diverge from the comic books then?
I don't even know what it's fucking following, because it has the name of that comic book.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that one's kind of dark-ish. It's a little bit more mature.
Yeah.
I don't know how kids are going to be entertained by that. Kids who aren't me.
Yeah.
And it's so different than the comic book. It has the look of some of the characters.
So basically, they just borrowed the name and a little bit of the design, and then
then it just goes off the fucking rails.
It's bullshit.
And it has Drake Bell as an all-right Spider-Man. I don't have a problem with Drake Bell.
Oh, from Drake and Josh?
Yeah, he plays Spider-Man.
I can see that.
Yeah,
huh.
yeah. Yeah, he has a good Spider-Man voice. I'm not mad at him. He did a good job.
Connor let me borrow Superior Spider-Man. You heard of that?
Oh my fucking god!
I read he's got like a couple of the graphic novel issues.
Can I wipe my ass with that, please?
It's so good.
Are you serious?
It's awesome. Yeah.
Really?
Okay. Have you read it?
No, I haven't. But it's shitty.
So it's Doc Ock in Peter Parker's body, right? And he's it's cool because like the whole time, I mean, they make it seem ridiculous because Peter Parker's basically watching over his shoulder. The memory, he keeps Peter Parker's memory so he can better impersonate him.
Yeah.
And manifest as a ghost of Peter Parker. So Peter Parker's kind of watching over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Like the whole time he's just like, dude, you were such a tool. Like, why are you talking like that? Because, he's basically going around acting like, what's that Doc Ock's real name again?
Otto Octavius.
That's right. Yeah. Otto Octavius. So everyone's like, Peter, why are you talking so weird and that sort of thing. But he really does improve on Spider-Man's life. Like he goes back to school to get his PhD and that sort of thing. It's kind of cool. It's sort of an interesting alternate reality.
Yeah, I'm kind of talking out of my ass because I'm reading all this stuff. I'm like, I don't like this at all.
Oh, you gotta check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out.
I already went on record and I said something was awful. I have to continue with that.
Oh no!
I should never change my opinions on the internet.
Like it. It's cool.
I should never change my opinions though. That's how if I make a blog post or I say something in a video, I should stick to that.
Well, this is why you have a persona. Dark Spidey doesn't have to like it. You can like it.
But admitting that I'm wrong is something I can't.
You're right, especially not on YouTube. You can't do it.
Yeah.
You just call the other person a faggot until they stop talking. Yeah.
Or say they're just a shill or some shit.
No, but it is pretty entertaining. It's not like classic Spider-Man or anything. Well, it kind of is. I don't know. It's cool.
When you call someone a shill, you're essentially saying that, hey, if what you're saying is true, I should believe you. And if what they're saying is true, but they're not. They don't want to believe it. Yeah. They're just implying that they don't want to believe it. What are you doing? Who's that? Who's that lady?
Red carpet.
Lauren Sanchez.
Her hair is brown.
What? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, so I was pretty disappointed with that. It didn't do much at all. Emma Stone, she looked. I know you're not attracted.
I'm not a big fan. Yeah, she looks weird, dude.
I like her weird.
She's like Stitch personified. I don't know.
Stop coming up with different animals to call her. You're just gonna make me aroused by those particular animals. I'm not gonna change, Sam. I don't know. It's just. Oh Jesus. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just those big old green eyes and those lips and the fact that I don't know.
I could just see being about to kiss Emma Stone and suddenly her tongue snaking out of her mouth.
Dude, you have no idea what that's.
Fly.
You have no idea what that's doing for me. She just it's like okay. I like where this is going. Let's see where else this can go. Yeah, I don't know. She's just in every way, like head to toe, aesthetically appealing to me and my sensibilities. In the movie, though, when she was going for her interview at Cambridge, she had on this outfit that was just it was almost like a pseudo schoolgirl outfit, and like knee high socks. I'm just like, what the? Oh my god. Like, this is a kind of a dramatic moment, and I'm not taking it seriously.
Oh, this was in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, how can you win?
I don't know. I see some like.
She looks like a Muppet, dude.
Stop it! It's not helping. You're not helping at all.
I mean, theoretically, you could combine a Muppet with your normal routine. I guess it'd be a puppet in that case.
Yeah, I saw a couple of pictures of her when she was younger, and I'm just like, oh yeah, this would have been the girl I would have had a crush on in high school. That they were on SNL and they were just kissing on a bridge in their costumes.
Okay. I guess that's what she is going for, that kind of, girl next door sort of look.
Yeah, and they do it again with SNL. They're just making fun of it. They're just fucking around, I think.
That's funny.
Yeah. Everyone thought she was going to play Mary Jane when they first announced she was going to be in the new movies.
She has red hair.
You know what I thought it'd be funny? If she, shows up in the new Spider-Man movie, and she has red hair. It's... And Peter just looks at the camera and he goes... He's like, he doesn't have to compromise on any of his feelings. He's just like, okay, sure.
This works.
What if that's the Gwen clone and they just make a Mary Jane?
A Mary Jane.
She just oh my god.
That's a good story. You gotta write that down.
Oh my god.
Except you already have a Mary Jane in your show.
Yeah, I do. But that would be interesting. Mm-hmm. Like, they clone Gwen Stacy and she doesn't know anything. She just makes up her own persona and she becomes Mary Jane.
Yeah,
or she has false memories
Mary Jane
or something.
That's false memories of word.
Or Mary Jane disappears or dies or something or gets killed, and then she takes on that persona. I don't know.
It'd be weird.
Yeah.
And then she'd be like, Gwen Stacy would be dating Harry Osborn, because then Harry obviously would know though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't really make sense.
You know what they should have done in the first movie?
What?
In 2002? They should have done role reversal with Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
No one would have seen it coming.
No.
You kill off Mary Jane when the Green Goblin throws her off the bridge. Tragic. That's a huge fucking... That's groundbreaking, relatively speaking, for a superhero film to do that this early into the game.
Yeah.
And not only into, the franchise itself, but this resurgence of superhero films. And with a character like Spider-Man.
Right.
It would have pissed people off, but people are so used to this interpretation of Spider-Man, it wouldn't make that big of a
revolutionary,
difference. Sure. Yeah. And Gwen should have been, the new girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, she should have been... Because Gwen Stacy in those 3 Spider-Man movies plays like Mary Jane, and Mary Jane is more in line with Gwen Stacy in the comic books.
Yeah.
She's just boring.
Kind of timid.
And Gwen is more interesting.
Yeah.
Even though Mary Jane is the one that's supposed to be a little bit more interesting.
And Gwen Stacy didn't really have much of a part in those movies anyway. She just...
Yeah.
The whole third movie, dude, was so convoluted and awful. I don't know.
It's really... It was... It's one of those movies where I just feel like it's not going anywhere. It's just... Yeah. Spider-Man 2 tried to encompass a little bit more with the giant fucking sun thing. I'm like, okay, this isn't like the same thing with the first movie where it's just people on a fucking bridge and you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. Bullshit. Right. It's still Mary Jane getting captured. Okay, whatever. Yeah. But there's something at stake here that's affecting the entire city. Right. The Amazing Spider-Man and the Amazing Spider-Man 2 also sort of do that. There's this power outage. It's affecting all these different parts of the city. Right. And it's just a race against time, and then these 2 planes are about to crash into each other. That's cool. It's kind of silly. Yeah, no, it's kind of.
I think it sounds pretty good. Yeah. Honestly, I can't think of another superhero film that does kill off
the girl nowadays. That's something that they always used to do. No, they don't do it anymore.
They used to.
In the comic books, they did it a lot.
In the comic books, sure.
And then they brought him back to life.
But in a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just sort of like, oh wow.
And yeah, if they bring it back to life, I mean that. But superhero movies are always supposed to kind of end with I guess Rachel dies.
Yeah, that was, and people remember that.
Yeah.
And the way they did it too, she was right in the middle of of a word, and they blow her up.
Yeah.
That just scares the shit out of you.
Because
you think they're gonna give you, you're gonna get a last word, especially with someone like Christopher Nolan. Then nope. It's like someone interrupted Smash Mouth in the middle of their song. Somebody.
I love too how Rachel. I just realized what you said.
Can you imagine the opening of Shrek? It'd be so Oh my god.
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness.